Alright, let's get started. In this video, we will see how you can build an SEO analysis tool using AI agents, specifically GitHub Copilot and Claude Sonnet 4. We won't be writing code. We will ask AI to write the code and run it. All of this using agents. This does not mean that you do not need to know code. You absolutely do, or should I say, at least for now. We're starting from scratch, no pre-written code, just my leftover knowledge on the topic. Now, if you're already deep into SEO and using mature tools, this probably won't be all that useful. But if you're curious about what AI agents can actually do, especially from a builder or developer's point of view, I think you'll enjoy this. The full session took about 71 minutes. This video is sped up where needed, but if you're trying this on your own machine, you might want to have something else to do while the AI works in the background. This is a video all about AI agents. The code is built with AI. The requirements are drafted by AI. And this voice you're hearing, yes, this is also AI. Well, this is the world we're stepping into. However, the idea to create this video was mine. It actually came from a quick migration problem I needed to solve. Alright, enough talk. Let's dive in. I will create a new directory called SEO. It's empty, and I open VS Code in there, and load Copilot. Make sure you select Agent. And I am using the model Claude Sonnet 4. No particular reason to choose it. It was set by default. Generally, it performs better when you ask it to write modular code. Now, you could write the prompts in the box at the bottom right corner. I chose to open in a new window for this video. First, I'll ask it to write down the detailed requirements in a file. I will not be very specific, just give it a vague idea and see what it does. However, I will provide it with some directions to work with, ensuring it doesn't get requirements from all over and doesn't attempt to build a complete product. It created the requirements. We will check it out in a while. I see a problem in the summary here. So, it was expecting the list of URLs from a text file. I'll ask it to take the sitemap URL from a file to begin the crawl with. I'm just skimming through the generated requirements. That mobile responsiveness section caught my eye, and there's a lot of other implementation in there. Let's direct it to reduce the scope further. You could do a larger project, but you might run out of tokens. The Sonnet model is currently under premium requests. I am still being vague here with those kinds of statements. Meanwhile, I'll copy-paste my website's sitemap instead of the example. So let's talk about, why do I create a requirements file instead of asking it to code? Once you have the clear requirements, you can direct Copilot to just refer that instead of its memory. If your project is fairly large, you could ask Copilot to break it down into multiple files with 4 user stories and tasks. Yes, Copilot can do that. And then you can ask it to do one task at a time. Maybe we will see that in another video. It is generating multiple outputs. For this video, I am asking it to generate a single HTML file as a report. Remember, it's not coding yet. We are just asking it to refine the requirements. Now that I am satisfied with the refined requirements, I want it to generate a sample report. It's pretty much a report I was expecting. It is missing some features, and I need some minor changes before that. I think this is a good starting point. I will ask it to generate the code now. There are additional features I want, but I will request those later. Here, I am adding some more constraints. Ideally, all of this should have gone into the requirements file first, but I guess I got impatient and forgot to ask it to update the requirements as well. It came back with some questions, and I'll answer the ones that I have opinions about, and for the others, I will let it make its own choice. Now, it's generating code. That's going to take a while. I'll skim through the code here, not reviewing it in detail. Just looking for any apparent oddities. I am going to ask it to create a virtual environment here. Typically, it does ask me whether to do it. I guess it just wasn't in the mood today. Great, it's creating shell scripts. It's also the way I like to run it. I'm not sure whether it remembers me doing that or it just did it on its own. I want it to use the preferred version of Python. That is not absolutely necessary, just my choice. So, we are ready to run it now. I'll ask it to run by itself. You don't have to specifically ask for that. It will do it anyway. A word of caution, make sure you understand what it's doing. In my case, I am being worry-free, and that is because I am running this within a virtual environment. And further, the dev machine is a VM itself for some other reasons. You could ask it to write unit tests and integration tests as well. However, I have observed it getting stuck and taking too long in some instances. Instead, I recommend using it to scaffold your unit tests. Ultimately, you are responsible for the code it generates. Taking ownership of these tests won't harm. It made a mistake here. It did not crawl the deeper sitemaps and chose one. Let's ask it to fix that. While it's running again, we can see that the fetch sitemap function does a recursive check for the deeper sitemaps. It looks like the code has been fixed correctly. Alright, I have the initial SEO report for my website. I want to check for broken links and broken images. Let's ask it to do that. It broke the sample report. It was working on something and I assumed it would fix the report by itself. I guess it did not see the problem. Let's ask it to fix the sample report. The sample report is fixed. Let's ask it to continue with the analysis further. I see a problem. It's hitting the same URL multiple times. It is not downloading the external image or URL unless necessary, and that is a good sign. However, it is not caching the prior responses either. It is counting forbidden errors as broken links, which is not correct. Here I am asking it to use some cache, but now I am giving it a specific direction on how to do it. I am giving instructions on how to expire the cache and what to cache. I told it to make some minor changes and rerun the analysis. Now we have the new report. I will ask it to run again to see whether it uses the cache effectively. The response to the crawl is slower than expected, especially when using a cache. A 24-hour cache is not ideal for a forced recrawl either. However, I asked it to cache all responses. I had my doubts that it was not caching all responses, and only the external URL or image URL requests. I will ask it to explain its caching strategy. That should clarify things, but I do not want to change it further for now. My doubts were spot on. The table structure tells me that it is not caching all responses or the entire response value. Anyways, this is good enough for now. Let me recheck the reports. This looks good enough for now. But now begins the challenging and often tedious part, code review. You must review and test each part of the code that was generated. You might have seen me jump in here and there to guide the AI, just a few nudges to keep it on track. That's the dance for now, AI speed, human direction. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and smash that subscribe button. It's the simplest way to earn some instant karma. Those buttons don't get nearly enough love, and your support really helps us grow. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, questions, or feedback in the comments below.